Ryan's heart pounded as he walked through the school gates, the vibrant colors of planet Zorlon's landscape offering no comfort. The Intergalactic School of Harmony stood as a beacon of unity, but for Ryan, it was a daily battleground. His alien classmates' taunts echoed in his mind, their sharp words cutting deeper than any physical blow. In the bustling corridor, Ryan kept his gaze low, hoping to avoid confrontation. The whispers began almost immediately. "Hey, Earthling, lost again?" Lyra's voice rang out, dripping with sarcasm. She stood with her gang, a group of alien bullies who delighted in making Ryan's life miserable. Lyra, with her green, scaled skin and piercing yellow eyes, was the ringleader. Her insecurities masked by a facade of toughness, she saw Ryan's vulnerability as an easy target. Ryan ignored her, focusing on the metallic sheen of the lockers. His silence only fueled Lyra's cruelty. "Answer when you're spoken to, human," she sneered, shoving him against the cold metal. The impact sent a sharp pain through Ryan's shoulder, but he bit back a cry, refusing to give her the satisfaction. "Leave him alone, Lyra," a voice intervened. Miss Dara, Ryan's human teacher, approached with a stern expression. "Bullying has no place here." Lyra rolled her eyes but stepped back. "Whatever, Mrs. Tara, we're just having fun." Miss Tara's eyes softened as she turned to Ryan. "Are you okay?" Ryan nodded, though his pride was more bruised than his body. "I'm fine, Miss Tara, thank you." The teacher's concern lingered as she walked away, leaving Ryan to navigate the rest of the day. Each class felt like an eternity, the alien languages swirling around him, making him feel even more isolated. He longed for the end of the day when he could escape to the safety of home. As the final bell rang, Ryan's relief was short-lived. Lyra and her gang cornered him outside, their expressions predatory. "Thought you could run, human?" Lyra taunted. Ryan backed away, his pulse racing. "Just leave me alone." Lyra's laughter was harsh. "Not so tough without your teacher around, are you?" Before Ryan could react, Lyra's fist connected with his stomach, knocking the wind out of him. He crumpled to the ground, gasping for air. The others joined in, kicking and jeering, their blows relentless. Through the haze of pain, Ryan heard a familiar, strong voice. "Hey, get away from him!" Jake, Ryan's older brother, stood there, his eyes blazing with anger. Recently returned from service, Jake was a skilled martial artist and combat veteran. He radiated strength and confidence, and his presence commanded attention. The bullies hesitated, unsure of this new threat. "Who do you think you are?" Lyra challenged, her bravado faltering. "I'm his brother," Jake replied coldly. "And if you touch him again, you'll regret it." Lyra's eyes narrowed, but she stepped back, signaling her gang to retreat. "This isn't over," she spat, but the fear in her voice was unmistakable. Jake knelt beside Ryan, helping him to his feet. "Are you okay?" Ryan winced, but nodded. "I will be." "Thanks, Jake." Jake's jaw tightened. "This ends now, Ryan. No one hurts my little brother and gets away with it." Jake's eyes widened in shock as he saw his brother's battered face. The bruises and cuts stark against Ryan's pale skin ignited a fierce protectiveness in Jake. He had been home for only a day, and already he was faced with the harsh reality of his brother's suffering. "Who did this to you?" Jake's voice was a low, dangerous growl. Ryan hesitated, shame coloring his features. "Just some kids at school." "It's not a big deal." "It is a big deal, Ryan," Jake insisted, his tone brooking no argument. "No one should have to go through this. We're going to fix it." The next morning, Jake marched into the Intergalactic School of Harmony, his presence commanding immediate attention. The school, with its blend of futuristic architecture and vibrant alien flora, was a stark contrast to the somber purpose of his visit. He headed straight for the principal's office, where Mr. Yalix, a tall, silver-skinned alien with a calm demeanor, awaited him. "Mr. Yalix, I'm Jake, Ryan's brother. We need to talk about the bullying that's been happening here." Mr. Yalix's antennae twitched in surprise. "I assure you, we take bullying very seriously. If there's been an issue, we will address it." Jake's eyes hardened. "It's more than an issue. My brother is being physically assaulted. This needs to stop now. Mr. Yalux nodded, his expression serious. I will investigate this immediately. Thank you for bringing it to my attention. Jake left the office with a sense of purpose. He knew the principal's investigation might take time, but he was not one to wait passively. Instead, he decided to take a more direct approach. After speaking with Mrs. Tara, who fully supported his plan, Jake arranged to start self-defense classes at the school, open to all students. That afternoon, Jake addressed a gathering of curious students in the gymnasium. The room buzzed with whispers as he introduced himself. Hi, everyone. I'm Jake. I'm here to teach you how to defend yourselves. Respect and strength go hand in hand. No one has the right to make you feel unsafe. His words resonated with many students, but Lyra and her gang watched from the sidelines, their expressions a mix of defiance and curiosity. Jake demonstrated basic techniques, emphasizing control and discipline. The students' interest grew, and soon, even Lyra found herself intrigued, despite her best efforts to appear uninterested. After the session, "How are you holding up?" Ryan managed a small smile. "Better, thanks to you. But Lyra and her friends, they won't back down easily." Jake's jaw tightened. "They'll learn. Respect isn't given, it's earned. And they'll learn that the hard way if necessary." As the days passed, Jake's classes gained popularity. Students from different species and backgrounds came together, learning not just self-defense but also mutual respect. The atmosphere at the school began to shift, but tensions still simmered beneath the surface. One afternoon, as Jake was packing up after a class, he noticed Lyra lingering nearby. She approached him, her usual bravado replaced by a hint of uncertainty. "Why are you doing this?" she asked, her voice softer than he'd ever heard it. Jake paused, meeting her gaze. "Because everyone deserves to feel safe. Even you, Lyra." Her eyes flickered with a mix of emotions, but before she could respond, a loud crash echoed from the hallway. Jake and Lyra rushed out to find Ryan surrounded by Lyra's gang, who had cornered him despite her absence. "Enough!" Jake's voice boomed, freezing everyone in place. "This ends now." The schoolyard buzzed with anticipation as Jake stepped forward to address the students gathered for his self-defense class. The air was crisp, filled with the murmurs of curiosity and the occasional rustle of leaves. Jake's presence had become a beacon of strength and justice, but it also stirred the simmering tensions among the bullies. "Today, we're going to focus on standing up for yourself without resorting to violence," Jake announced, his voice steady and authoritative. He demonstrated a few techniques, his movements fluid and precise, capturing the students' attention. In the crowd, Lyra watched intently, her expression a blend of defiance and curiosity. Despite her tough exterior, she couldn't deny the respect Jake commanded. She approached him after the class, her gaze unwavering. "Why are you really here, Jake?" Lyra's voice was edged with suspicion. Jake met her eyes, seeing the vulnerability beneath her bravado. "I'm here to help. Everyone deserves to feel safe and respected, Lyra. Even you." Before she could respond, a loud crash echoed from the hallway, shattering the moment. Jake and Lyra rushed towards the sound, finding Ryan surrounded by Lyra's gang. The tension was palpable, the air thick with unspoken threats. "What's going on here?" Jake's voice cut through the hostility, his tone a mix of anger and authority. One of the bullies, a tall alien with blue skin and multiple arms, sneered. "Just teaching the human a lesson." Jake stepped forward, his stance protective. "This ends now. Leave him alone." The gang hesitated, their bravado wavering under Jake's intense gaze. But Lyra's presence seemed to embolden them. She stepped between Jake and her gang, her eyes narrowing. "Why do you care so much about him?" Lyra challenged, her voice shaking slightly. "Because no one deserves to be bullied," Jake replied, his voice calm but firm. "Not Ryan, not anyone." Lyra's gang exchanged uncertain glances, their confidence eroding. The students who had gathered around watched with bated breath. "Lyra," Jake continued, his tone softer, "this isn't about showing who's stronger. It's about respect. It's about making this school a place where everyone can feel safe." Lyra's eyes flickered with conflict, the words striking a chord. She took a deep breath, her gaze shifting to Ryan. Maybe we've gone too far, she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. The admission hung in the air, a moment of vulnerability that silenced the crowd. But before the tension could dissipate, one of the gang members lunged at Jake, his fists flying. The attack was sudden and fierce, but Jake's training kicked in. He deflected the blows with practiced ease, his movements a blur of precision. The fight escalated quickly, drawing gasps from the onlookers. Jake's skills were on full display, his actions a masterclass in control and discipline. He avoided causing serious harm, but each move was calculated to neutralize the threat. Ryan watched in awe, a mix of fear and admiration in his eyes. The other students were equally captivated, their respect for Jake growing with every passing moment. Even Lyra couldn't tear her gaze away, her bravado crumbling in the face of Jake's undeniable strength. The confrontation reached its peak when Jake pinned the final attacker to the ground, his voice a calm command. Enough. The yard fell silent, the echoes of the struggle fading into the background. Jake stood, his gaze sweeping over the crowd, his message clear. This ends now. The tension in the schoolyard lingered like a fog as Jake and Lyra faced each other. The echoes of the recent confrontation still reverberated in the minds of the students, who watched with bated breath. Ryan stood nearby, his heart pounding in his chest, hopeful but anxious about what would come next. Lyra, Jake began, his voice calm but firm. We need to find a way to move past this. This isn't about winning or losing, it's about creating a safe environment for everyone. Lyra's eyes were filled with a mix of regret and determination. She nodded slowly, her gaze shifting to her gang, who looked to her for guidance. I know, she admitted, her voice trembling. We've been wrong. I've been wrong. The admission was met with a collective gasp from the students. It was a rare moment of vulnerability from someone who had always portrayed herself as invincible. Jake saw the opportunity to foster change. We all make mistakes, Jake said, taking a step closer to Lyra. What matters is how we move forward. Respect isn't just given, it's earned through our actions. Lyra took a deep breath, her resolve hardening. What do we do now? Jake smiled, sensing a breakthrough. We start by understanding each other. Let's use these self-defense classes not just to learn how to fight, but to understand the importance of unity and respect. We can make this school a better place, together. Miss Tara, who had been observing from a distance, approached with a warm smile. I believe this is a turning point for our school. Jake, your presence here has made a significant impact. Lyra, your willingness to change is commendable. Lyra looked at Ryan, her expression sincere. I'm sorry, Ryan, for everything. Ryan nodded, feeling a weight lift off his shoulders. Thank you, Lyra. It means a lot. The school administration, inspired by the events, decided to implement new policies promoting respect and inclusivity. Jake's self-defense classes became a staple of the curriculum, teaching not only physical skills, but also the values of empathy and cooperation. Weeks passed, and the atmosphere at the Intergalactic School of Harmony began to transform. The once tense and hostile environment gave way to one of mutual respect and camaraderie. Ryan found himself making friends from different species, his confidence growing with each passing day. One afternoon, during a particularly spirited self-defense session, Jake gathered the students for a special announcement. The gymnasium was filled with eager faces, each one a testament to the positive changes taking root in the school. I'm proud of all of you, Jake began, his voice filled with pride. You've embraced these lessons and applied them not just in training, but in your daily lives. This is what true strength looks like. Lyra stepped forward, her usual tough demeanor softened by a newfound sense of purpose. We couldn't have done it without you, Jake. You've shown us what it means to stand up for what's right. As the students applauded, a sudden commotion near the entrance caught their attention. A group of unfamiliar figures entered, their presence unsettling. Jake's instincts kicked in, his eyes narrowing as he assessed the potential threat. The leader of the newcomers, a tall, imposing alien with a sinister smile, stepped forward. I've heard a lot about you, Jake. Let's see if you're as tough as they say. The tension in the room skyrocketed, the students' excitement turning to unease. Jake positioned himself protectively in front of the group, his muscles tensing in anticipation. "This is a place of respect and learning," Jake declared, his voice steady. "If you have a problem, we can settle it peacefully." The alien's smile widened, revealing sharp, gleaming teeth. "Peaceful isn't my style.